Hi guys, it's Checkacola or Matt, and today I want to talk about my Sega Genesis Mini. So this is a Sega Genesis Mini that's not actually made by Sega, it's made by Radica, 16-bit power. This is the volume 2. I believe they made 3. They made one with Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and a bunch of games, this one, and then another one with like the Sonic collection. So this is actually a fairly small device. It has on the bottom a screw for batteries, but you can plug in a DC adapter. It works with almost every DC adapter. I've tried a few, but me personally, I just like putting the batteries in there and taking her on the go. So it does have Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I believe, in my opinion, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the best Sonic game and probably one of the best Genesis games. I do have an original Genesis right here. Really cheap, actually, to pick one up. Garage sales, secondhand stores. They're not that much money. And the games, here we got NBA Jam. I remember going crazy fire on this. You can pick these games up really cheap, or really cheap when I bought them. Like, $1, $2, you get a game. And I think I got one of these Genesis for like $10 around there. I'm not too sure now, maybe the price went up. And it did come with one controller. And all the good hitch-ups and hookups. But this little bad boy, compared to the Genesis, is actually not that bad. There is some issues when you're playing the game with the sound. Sonic the Hedgehog, and it does have the Dolphin game, Echo the Dolphin, I believe, which is a fun game. I'd say this game system, if you can pick it up for $5, like I did, I got a brand new in store, and it was on clearance for $5. This was about 4 or 5 years ago, so I picked it up. I think it's a really good deal just to play Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The other games are kind of iffy, there's ooze and columns, and there's a couple games that are really dated, which I didn't really get into and I didn't really play that much because they are really hard. There's a really hard game on here when you're a kid and you're trying to go through like a town. I'd say compared to Super Ghouls and Goblins, or Ghosts and Goblins, it's a really hard game comparable. But the thing I want to say about this, what Radica did right, what Nintendo did wrong, in my opinion, is this. So, here's the controller. The cord, it is insanely long. Like this bad boy. Look how long that cord is. Even the original Genesis cord, controller cord, is long. Nintendo, on the Super NES edition, which is right over here, I'll get it, pull her out, if I can, there we go. They made the cords long, but not as long as the Sega. So the Sega does have the cord length, I'd say, as an advantage. But the Nintendo, or the SNES Classic, does have the fact that it's made by Nintendo. Again, this, if you pick this up for $5 and you love Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which again I think is the best Genesis game you can get, or it's up there, definitely the best Sonic game. But the thing with this one is, the controllers and the power, or the component, it is component, video and audio, and they don't unplug. So if something goes wrong, basically you're out of luck, or you can maybe unscrew it and fix it. But as for the games, I'd say $5 Sonic the Hedgehog all day. Anything more than like $15, $20, I'd probably pass on this. The MSRP or money amount on this, I looked at it, it can go from $24 to like $30, depending on if you want this bad enough. But I would say, basically, at $5 it's a steal. Depending on what you like, Sega Genesis, and what your nostalgia is on this, I would say it depends how much you'd pay for this. The controller is actually really good. And compared to the original, the only difference is the menu. So this has a menu button. The original Sega controller didn't have a memory or a menu because obviously you just pop the game in and press reset. This one, just the power button, no reset, no nothing. Just menu, power down. It does have a good interface, but the button's definitely responsive. Definitely really similar in shape. But on the back, again, Radica and a Sega. So I would say this little bad boy, you can find her, pick her up, $5 or so. Really, really good. The only game I want to recommend on this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If you've never played Sonic the Hedgehog 2, pick this up and give her a go. If you can find a Genesis and a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 cart, you might be better off going with that if it's not crazy price. You can get original, Genesis for like $15, let's say $15 now, and like the original Sonic 2 for $5 or $10, maybe $25 you get the original. Usually the original, they come with like one controller again. So I'd say, depending on your nostalgia and what you want, this is a good entry into like the Sega Genesis world. There are some problems with the sound, but I'd say the graphics and the gameplay is fairly responsive and like almost similar to the original Genesis. But if you want the full Genesis feeling, go with the original Genesis and get some Genesis games. Because you can, again, find these games really cheap. And Sega actually, they really last a long time, opposed to the NES and the Super Nintendo. And they're black, so they don't fade really bad. Like the Super Nintendo and NES, they changed color. We've all seen the yellow and the greenish yellow ones. But these ones, if I dust it off, almost just like when it came out brand new of the factory. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked the video. What are your thoughts on like mini Genesises or mini Ataris? Leave a comment down below. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Checkacola out.